Quick look at the views now that we're getting out the woodland bit. That's where I started the video, of course. Stunning village down there, actually my favourite village. Over there's Loch Earn, the other side of that peak there. So tonight I'm off out for a solo wild camp, and you join me in one of my favourite places in Scotland. Not far from the Ben Lawers range here, where it all started for me when it comes to the Munros. Not for camping though, of course that was the Pentlands back in 2019. So, might as well just get straight to the point. The weather that you're seeing at the moment, this is not to stay. It's quite dry now. It's actually been very dry for about a month in Scotland now. But unfortunately, it's all going to change during the night by the looks of things. Heavy rain. Wouldn't say it's going to be too windy, but there will be wind there. Yeah, it's to come in from the west. And it's to hit about 8 PM tonight. And it's to last all night into tomorrow morning. So I'm trying out a tent tonight. Hilleberg Nammatj 2. This is more for winter camps, this one. It's a wee bit smaller than the Nallo 2 GT. The vestibule's a little bit smaller. It's a tent I've been looking at since, well, way back in 2020 when I met Steve for the first time. Steve's Wild Camping. I think he's changed his YouTube channel back to Steve's Days Off. I seen it for the first time at Loch Granach in person, and I really liked the look of it. It came back in stock this year. I've looked a wee bit, and the only one that was available was the GT version. And I obviously just wanted the normal version of the tent with the smaller vestibule. So finally got one this year, and I'm going to be trying it out tonight. Just going to get up to the top now, I think. Quite low down still. Just want to get all the filming out the way while I'm fresh. So yeah, I'm going to catch you guys, maybe not at the summit, but a wee bit further up. Let the views open up a little bit more. Suspect there'll be people up here as well. It's quite nice at the moment. Bit of a tricky bit this in the winter, this bit when it's all icy. Wee bit tricky and wet as well. Could be the case in the morning when this is all slippy. Nice views. Once you get by that wee steep bit, which I've just filmed, as I said, it can be quite slippy in the ice and wet, so just be careful there if you choose to pick this hill for a camp. But yeah, once you get by this bit, the summit is just up there. And there's 3 cairns up here. There's one on the lower slope, and then there's 2 at the top. The big one's the true summit, you can't miss it when you're up there. I'll either see you at the summit when I'm pitching the tent. It just depends how busy it is up here, if there is anyone up here. So I've reached the summit of Schron-a-Klaken. It's just over 500 metres this peak. As you can see, I'm surrounded by the mountains though. Matter of fact, the 10th highest mountain's in front of me, but behind me you see Benbonestepinian, the 16th and 18th highest mountain in Scotland. I need to try and find somewhere to pitch the tent up. Not entirely sure where to go. There is a spot I'm quite familiar with because I camp there a lot up here, but I might go there still, but I'm going to have a look for somewhere different. I'll bring you back when I find somewhere. Alright, so I found a potential spot. Probably just going to go here. And the view of Loch Tay from here is pretty nice. Not far from the path, it's just down there. And then the summit is just up there. I'm going to get the tent out. Well, I'm really excited because that's me finally getting the new tent up. Probably the final purchase when it comes to tents for a while. If I ever buy one again, I've pretty much got my tent collection sorted out after getting this tent, and recently the Hyperlite Mountain Gear 1, which is a trekking pole tent. I said at the start of the year to my mate David that there's only really 2 tents that I'm looking to get, and if I get the opportunity I'll get them. So yeah, I'll get the tent pitched up and I'll bring you back. It's actually quite windy up here, unfortunately. So I've probably done the hard bit. I've managed to get the end pegs in. It's a tight fit here. It's the only disadvantage of tunnel tents is they do cover quite a large area. As you can see, we've got a big vestibule there. The inner tent will be this bit here. I'm trying to pitch the vestibule end into the wind. So 2 poles are up. It's only pegged out in the corners and it already looks pretty stable, this tent. I wouldn't obviously make a habit of pitching the tent like this. I'll get it pitched up properly and I'll bring you back. Well, it's a nice feeling that, just getting into the vestibule out the wind. That's the tent up and ready to go for tonight. The vestibule in here is a lot smaller than the Nallo 2 GT. As I mentioned down the hill, I did want to get another tunnel tent from Hilleberg that wasn't the GT version, just for the smaller vestibule. That way you don't need as big an area. You know, it's quite tight here for this tent. I've managed to probably get flat ground. The only thing about a tunnel tent is you can't really pick it up like you can with a freestanding tent, just to try and make your pitch a wee bit better. But I do like the space to wait that tunnel tents offer. So anyway, I'm going to get inside the inner and sort things out for tonight. And yeah, I'm going to learn a lot about this tent tonight. First time using it. I tried to film myself pitching the tent up, but there was a lack of space for setting the camera up, so I do apologise for probably the dreadful footage of me putting the tent up. Generous sizing here. Going to get the boots off and get inside. Alright, so we're inside the tent. Yes, feels good being in here. So it's very uneven ground up here. It's very lumpy and not great. So it's affecting the inner tent a little bit. The bathtub floor's a bit, you know, it's not ideal. I just hope the puddles don't form under the tent. I'm going to hopefully get the sleeping mat out and find out if it's going to affect my sleep for tonight. Sometimes if you get your sleeping mat out, it can level the ground off where you're lying anyway. You're lying down. For some reason I thought I seen a tick on the backpack. After last year's disaster at Glenstrathara. Yeah, I do not want to see another tick in my life. If you're a regular to the channel, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm really glad to have the tent up. That wind is starting to get worse, I would say. I wouldn't say it's anything dreadful. I mean, the tent's hardly moving, but just for pitching a tent this size, you know, having a bit of wind does make it quite difficult until you get the first, you know, couple of pegs in. So anyway, Rab Ultrasphere sleeping mat. Spoke about this in my Pentlands video quite recently. Yeah, I really like this sleeping mat. I think this is going to be my go-to summer mat. It's fairly comfortable, the pack's really small. Like I said, the same size as my pillow. So yeah, it takes a bit of practice getting it put inside this you know, pack, but it does work. You know, once you do, you know, like I say, once you practice with it, it's okay. I've got the Feminist Hyperion sleeping bag. I've had this now for 5 summers. This will be the 5th summer. Packs down really small again. For reference, there's the pillow. 500 grams, 0 degree comfort. I've obviously mentioned this pillow. I've actually got 2 pillows. One goes under the mat, which is this one goes on top. So I'm going to get all that set up and I'll bring you back. Alright, so it's still at the end of the day, the middle of May, and I'm in a 4-season tent. So I'm going to get these vents open. It's very warm in here. Good thing is, you can access these vents from the inner tent. So I'm going to try and let some air in here. Just get the vent at the vestibule end as well. This is where the wind's coming from, so if I open this up I'll get a lot of airflow coming through the tent for tonight, which might help with condensation, maybe. Can only hope. Can only hope. There's my view from the tent door. Trekking poles, that's a Scotland flag, it's meant to be, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Although one of the poles is starting to blow over in the wind. Time to get the stuff all set up now. Already feels a lot more fresh now that I've opened the vents up. Right, so quick tour of the tent. So as you can probably see through the mesh there, that's the vestibule. I'll not be lazy. I'll move forward. So there you go, decent sized vestibule there. I'm quite keen to see if we do get a lot of wind tonight, how much that sort of kind of caves in a little bit into the vestibule. I suspect as long as you cook away from the edge, you shouldn't need to worry about things falling over in the wind. So it's a big open round door, a bit like the Nallo 2 GT. You can tie the solid fabric in. Two pockets either side here, as you can see. Hanging line here, won't need that tonight. Thankfully I'm dry before the rain comes. So this is the Rab Ultrasphere as I've mentioned, 4.5. As you can see, it's not the widest mat, so I've got plenty of room to the side. Looking down to the end, we've got a huge vent here. I've opened this right up. I'll show you right now what I mean. So I think I've already covered the vents in this tent earlier on. I was opening them up there. As you can see, you can open this right up, so it's not just mesh. This allows a lot of airflow in the tent. So the wind's not coming from this direction, so I think I'm just going to leave this completely open. Any rain that's coming shouldn't get through this vent, given the wind direction tonight. And yes, it's great that you can access this vent. And then I've got the solid fabric here, so you can zip that up as well. But yeah, like I said, it's great that you can access that vent from the inner. Just saves you trying to stretch over the inner tent from the outside, or even having to go outside the tent to sort the vent out. I can sort it from in here. Keeps me dry, keeps me warm. Ideal for those winter camps, or wet camps. So, first impressions of the tent, I really like it. Now, this is pretty much the same inner as the Nallo 2 GT. So I knew that I was going to have good space on the inside with good ventilation options, a reasonable bathtub floor. I'm pitched on very uneven ground, and I still think the tent is very stable. You know, there's not much sagging going on up here. You can tell by the bathtub floor that it's very lumpy, the ground. Now, I'm going to get outside the tent. I'm going to film the outside, let you see the views. Don't want to be sitting in here, considering the weather that's forecast tonight. I've not checked the up-to-date forecast. I was actually concerned about thunder and lightning, but thankfully the Met Office has pretty much confirmed that it's just to be heavy rain and a bit windy, especially on higher ground. The wind should be, yeah, we'll just need to see how things go. It's to get worse over the next 48 hours, the wind. I think I'll miss the worst of it though, I hope. I'm going to get outside, like I said, and let you see the views and the tent from the outside. I'm quite looking forward to enjoying the views. I'm going to check the rainfall radar just to see what we've got coming our way. But before that, let's have a look outside. I'll point out some of the mountains that are around here, and if I can remember their heights, I'll say their heights as well, and if they're Monroes or not. It's nice to get out and enjoy the views. Tent's right there. Right, so as promised, I'm going to point out some of the mountains up here before we get back in the tent pretty much. So that's Melgurdy, climbed that back in April 2022. It's a Monro, I think it's 1,044 metres high, or is it 1,040 metres? There's a sign at the side of the road that tells the exact height. I think it's 1,040 actually. This is the Tamakin group here. Got Milnan Tamakin, the Tamakin Ridge. I've done a couple of camps up there. Melkaranach, and then you've got Ben Glass to the right. Just in the distance is Ben Lawers, just towering over the back of Ben Glass. the village of Cullen, and then of course Loch Tay. You've got Ben Hornsey, Ochna Freehill, Krieg Uchtach, all in this area over here. I don't think you'll see, yeah, you definitely won't. I think the top of Ben Vorlich's just there. There's certainly something there. And you've got Stuka Croin behind these peaks here, and Milnaferna, Ben Etch as well. The summit of Shornaclacken is that peak there. As I said, there are 3 cairns up here. There's the third one over there. That is the views from the camp. Yeah, the views are really nice up here. Now, done a lot of talking. I've showed you the tent, my first impressions of it. This is not a review video, by the way, but hopefully if you are looking at this tent and you are using my video, try and get in a wee bit more. If you are using my video to have a look at this tent, hopefully I've covered it quite well and you've seen enough. Yeah, maybe next year I'll give you a more detailed review of this tent when I've took it out more often. I'm going to enjoy probably an hour just without filming, and I'll bring you back when I'm having something to eat, and then I'll bring you back if this rain does come. The Met Office is very confident it is going to come, so we'll see. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. If it comes, it comes. It's as simple as that. But I'll see you later on when I'm cooking something. So it's a bit too windy to have something to eat outside the tent, just a bit too windy and cold. And the rain's due, by the looks of things, very soon. I've been keeping an eye on the rainfall radar. So just going to have something to eat from inside the tent. Now this is a good example of when the Nallo 2 GT with the bigger vestibule is worth buying, because if I'm sitting in the inner tent leaning over the vestibule, this is something I'm not a huge fan of doing, but just has to be done, just to keep myself dry and away from the cold wind. I don't know if I've said, I'm having the chicken curry from Adventure Food. I do really like this. After that I'm going to be having this as well. What's it called? Chocolate chip biscuit, Expedition Foods. Just need to see, I've never had it before. Don't think I have anyway. So yeah, don't really know if I'm going to film any of this, but yeah, I'll let you know what I think of the what's it called again? Chocolate chip biscuit. I'll let you know what I think of it. Yeah, I'm going to have the curry obviously first. That's the rain starting, obviously just lighting now. So I've opened the mesh as well now, just to let even more air in. A bit of dinner with a bit of rain. Can't go wrong, can you? As long as you've got the tent up. Yeah, I enjoyed this meal. Again, not much more to say. If you're a regular, you'll know that I do enjoy the Adventure Food chicken curry. Let's try that biscuit thing now. Well, I really enjoyed that. Chocolate chip biscuit. What I really liked about it is it's obviously chocolate, but it's warm. You know, it's a nice warm meal to have on top of your dinner. So, you know, in the winter this works quite well. Now I can't remember the exact weight of this, just over 100 grams according to the packet. Only requires 150 ml of water. It's worth taking. It really is worth taking. Might have a look to see if there's other flavours though. You know, I did like that, it was really nice. Now, as you can hear, it's still raining. It's been heavy and light. I'd say it's more kind of on the light side now. The wind's actually died down, which is nice. It's one of those relaxed camps in the rain. Sometimes they can be a bit chaos, eh? But this is nice. Don't know if I'm going to go back out the tent. I've not even checked the time. I think it's after 7 o'clock anyway. Probably about 7:30, so I was going to try and find my phone, but I've no idea what's going on behind me. So yeah, plenty of time still to go until it's dark. It's just time to pack away the stove and stuff like that. I don't need it now. Gonna try and have a quick look outside. I don't know if I should go for the top or the bottom. I'll go down at the bottom zip. Just keep the inner dry if I do it this way. There you go. So glad I got the tent up before this came. Really chilled out. Thing is, I don't really have much else to say. It's all about the weather now, isn't it? Makes a big difference when you have a big tent like this. When I first got into camping, I always felt like you had to have, you know, a one-person tent. Maybe in the summer, one-person tents are okay. Yeah, in the winter. Do you agree with me? That in the winter, it's better having a two-person tent with, you know, plenty of room to move around. I mean, this isn't the widest sleeping mat, but I've got a huge amount of space in here. It's really nice. Well, I'm going to go back out and hopefully get some footage for you guys. Something I might regret. So, still raining. It's not as heavy as it was maybe 15-20 minutes ago. I was just on the phone chilling out, and I'm just thinking this is probably the opportunity that I'm looking for now that the rain's calmed down, just to get out. So I'm going to get the waterproofs on, get the jacket there, and yeah, head on out. really nice listening to the rain, and before the rain came, yeah, it was nice having the wind as well. I'm going to wrap the video up for today. Tomorrow will be a new day, of course. I expect it to still be raining for packing up. Now, I'm going to be probably putting the microphones away. I've got this wireless mic for packing up. I'm going to actually have a go at filming just using the microphone on the camera. So there might be a change in audio tomorrow for tomorrow's footage. Obviously when I'm talking I'll use the microphone still, but I might film myself packing the tent down if it's still raining. It's been a nice long video though. I've enjoyed filming this one. It's been really relaxed. I've tried to make it quite relaxed, considering it's raining and this is obviously a new tent. So anyway folks, I will see you all tomorrow morning, early doors. I'm going to set the alarm for about maybe 5. Start packing at 5:30. I've got daylight for then now, so I'm going to take advantage of it, try and get home sharp. I have no idea how I'm going to dry this tent out because it's the rain the next few days, but I'm just going to stick her up in the garden, see how long it takes. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Well, good morning. Please excuse the bad lighting. I think I said yesterday I don't have a light now for like a vlogging light. I'm just shining the head torch up on me right now. It's 4:30 in the morning and the rain is calmed down a little, but it's got a wee bit windier. I wouldn't say it's above maybe 20-25 miles per hour. I've not been out to check. But it's windy enough to maybe cause problems with, you know, packing the tent down. Just need to try and keep it pegged down. So yeah, 4:30 in the morning. I'm gonna let the light come up for maybe an hour or so. The rain's meant to calm down after 6 o'clock in the morning. Checking the rainfall radar, the live rainfall radar. That looks like it's going to be the case. So hopefully I'll maybe get it a wee bit drier for packing down, but for now I'm going to probably have another hour just chilling, and then we'll get out of here. Fair bit of rain on the vent. I've kept this half shut just to try and stop the rain getting onto the inner. Yeah, it's a wee bit windier now. Definitely feel that coming in. So I think for the first time since I got here, the rain's calmed down a little bit. So to try and pack away everything now, maybe start taking the tent down in the next half an hour, and hopefully the rain will stay off for that, or at least stay light. I think it's maybe drizzle now. You can still hear a bit of something hitting off the tent, but it certainly isn't anywhere near as heavy as it's been. So I'm going to take the opportunity to pack away now, try and get off this little mountain, and yeah, it's a fairly short walk back to the car, so it's a chance you take. Hopefully it'll be dry. I always dread packing this sleeping mat away, always. It's a right nightmare to try and get that and that, but I'm going to try and do it on camera. Try it anyway. So, you try and fit it in here. Hopefully you can hear me okay, the microphone's on the camera. Being a bit lazy. Maybe once we get to use the mat more, the storage bag might stretch a little bit more, try and make it a wee bit easier, but it's just trying to get the bag over the mat. Absolutely nailed this last week, but making a bit of a mess of it today. It's not my best attempt at packing it away, but it will do for this trip. Grass. It'll be interesting to see how boggy it is out there. And on the return, not sure if I'm going to film the walk back down yet, or if I'm just going to end the video like I usually do once I get the tent down. What I will say is I need to be careful with the microphones, don't want them getting wet. Unsure if I'm going to use the camera microphone or try and keep things a wee bit clearer with the road microphones. There we go, folks. The cloud is all the way down on the mountains over there and over there, pretty much everywhere. Now this is the tent. I'll go around it, let you see how it's getting on with this wind. It's not that strong, the wind, but there is a bit of wind there, so yeah, it's pretty stable, isn't it? At the back here, this is where the wind's coming from. It's coming from the vestibule end. Looking forward to my next camp with this tent. I can't see it being any worse than the Nallo 2 GT to pack down in the wind. At least there's one less pole to deal with and there's less surface area to worry about as well. The rain's starting again, brilliant. Still got a bit of organising to do before I get this tent down. Gotta get the poles up, stick these into the ground. There was actually, I forgot to say this, there was actually something sharp underneath the tent that was in the ground. I didn't want it potentially puncturing through the tent. It was pretty sharp and I didn't want it also going through the sleeping mat because it was below where the sleeping mat was. So I just rolled this up here. I usually just nail on this, but I decided that I would put it underneath the tent and that would just stop that sharp object potentially causing issues during the camp, considering my weight would be on the sleeping mat and then on top of the tent as well. So yeah, I just need to watch when I'm rolling the tent up. I'll probably move the tent just to the side so there's not a risk of potentially ripping the tent when I'm rolling it up. But for now that can go back in here. Oh my goodness, it's brutal trying to pack away this wind and rain. It's not that windy, but it's certainly still there. So I've loosened off the corners and the poles just tension, you know, I've let the tension out, and you can just see how much that's making the tent flap about already. So the wind's coming from this direction, it's never changed overnight, so I'm going to unpeg this side, that way there's no risk of the tent lifting up and over the top of me. And then once I get some pegs I'll start taking the poles out, and then I can unpeg this side and bring everything down to the ground. I think the best piece of advice I can give anyone when it comes to packing a tent down is, well, in the wind anyway, is when you're packing a tent down in the wind, just try and keep as much of the tent pegged down as you can until you've got all your poles out and the tent's dropped down. When a tent's lying flat on the ground, providing you don't lift it, it's a lot easier to pack away in the wind. I see a lot of people make the mistake of unpegging all of the tent in the wind when the poles are still in, and the tent's obviously still raised off the ground. The wind's going to catch it more, and I've seen on a couple of occasions on YouTube as well actually, campsites, stuff like that, just people with a little bit less experience just, you know, making that mistake of unpegging the tent while the poles are still in. The wind's just going to catch it. So yeah, let's get packing. Well, panic over. I've got the tent down. Just need to get down here before any rain comes on, so I'm going to pack everything else in the backpack now. Just double check I've got my phone, car keys and wallet. I don't really care if I lose anything else, it's easily replaceable. And then we'll get off this hill back down to the loch. Now, apart from some obvious dry grass and some trekking poles which I'm obviously going to lift, I've left no trace. Always leave no trace. Doesn't matter where you are, campsites, car camping, on a hill. You take it in, you take it back out. Let's get out of here. Just need to head over to that cairn up there, and the path is behind it on the left. There's the cairn, and there's the path. Let's get out of here. It's going to be a steep drop back down. Be interesting to see how wet the ground's got overnight. Don't think it'll be too bad. A couple of days of rain and it will get quite boggy, but I suspect it'll be quite slippy coming down here. I'll get off this steep bit and I'll do a bit of talking to the camera. It's like a completely different day down here. Just getting out that wind. Obviously the cloud line is above this hill, but you can still see a wee bit of cloud coming and going. But yeah, that was a really enjoyable camp. It makes such a huge difference when you're doing a camp in the rain and all the rain happens when you're in the tent. Even coming off, there's a bit of drizzle now, but as long as it stays like this, the lower I get, the better it should get as well. But yeah, what I was going to say is as long as it stays like this, it really will only be the tent and these waterproofs that'll be wet. You know that? Sometimes you get home from a camp and your sleeping bag's wet, sleeping mat's wet, backpack's soaked, all your clothing, spare clothes, you know, your dry clothes you had on that you've wore back down. Sometimes I just go back into my wet clothes, but they get wet too. Yeah, it makes a difference, eh? I'll get down at the woodland bit, I'll film a wee bit more of the walk back down. My nose was running, that's normal. Yeah, let you see more of the hill. I want to see how boggy this path's got overnight as well. Filmed this bit on the way up, I think. As I said on the way up, I think as well, when this is wet and slippy, you've just got to be careful. A couple of bits you've got to maybe put your hand on the rock. Yeah. You see the ground's a bit wet, but it's not bad. I suspect these rocks could be a bit slippy though. Like I said, when it's icy here, it's brutal. Like, I've had it a couple of times up here in the winter. Sometimes you're better just jumping. As long as you know the ground's good when you jump down, you don't want to slip or trip on anything. Alright, so you've got a couple of options here. You can go over that hill there and drop back down, it's quite steep. I always take the left turn here. You're sheltered from the wind and rain, but also it saves you going up to go back down, and it also saves you going down a very steep climb at the other side. What I'll do is I'll do this walking and I'll show you the climb at the other side. Alright folks, so as I mentioned, at the other side of this hill, that you can either go that way or that way. I always choose that way because it saves me coming down this steep climb here. Once you go around this hill, it's just gradual, so yeah, it's actually probably quicker going that way. Even though you're going around and you're adding a wee bit of distance, you're going to naturally slow down going up that and down that. Path's just damp, wouldn't say it's that boggy. Certainly not sinking into it like you usually would in this hill. So if you remember at the start of the video, I was in a woodland bit. I'm probably about 10 minutes from that now. Before I get down there though, I'm going to take some layers off and then we'll get down to the woodland bit. That's when I'm going to end the video before I get back down to the busy village of Killin. Well, it's starting to rain actually, so I'm going to keep my waterproofs on. I'll take them off at the woodland bit where I'm ending the video. And I'll just catch you down there. While I was talking there, got a sight of the woods. I need to walk through there. That's where I started the video yesterday. It was a much nicer day compared to today. Although I thought the weather would be worse this morning. Obviously the worst of the weather came when I was in the tent. That rain's obviously went east towards the Cairngorms. Funny enough, that's where I was going to go, was the Cairngorms. See you down at the woodland bit. This is the worst bit of the walk, this like. I'll show you why. Some of the trees have had enough. There's one down here that blocks the path and it has for about 3-4 years now. just hope no one ever gets hurt on it. Gets really steep down here. This is why I hate this bit. You're in the trees, you can't see much. Nice to hear the birds though. But it's very steep. This is the steepest bit of the walk. So do not think, because this is the start of the hike and the village is about 3 minutes from here. So this is the easy bit. It's very steep and slippy. That's the rain coming on quite heavy now. Could have waited 20 minutes. Trying to get over this tree without slipping. And I've got to duck under this bit. Someone who is really tall like Monty would struggle to get under there. It's the rain getting quite heavy again. Thought I was going to get away with it. Lisa's waited until now, but with the rather I've got inside the car with the heating on. So looks like I'll be wearing the waterproofs all the way back down to the car. Damn it. Well, it seems rather fitting that the weather and the rain has come back at the end of the video in a really lovely woodland area. It's really relaxing just listening to the birds and the rain at the same time. The rain's just hitting nicely off the trees. I'm getting a bit of shelter. So, before I wrap the video up, I do apologise if the lens is blurry. And I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Click the like button to support the video, click the subscribe button to support my channel and future videos. But most importantly, get involved in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and until the next trip, take care. Back to the car.